Hey guys, Level Cap here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the F2000 assault rifle. Now, I have reviewed this gun once before. It was 7 months ago, and the gun has changed so much since then. I figured it was time for a re-review of the weapon. When I first looked at it, everybody was still using the foregrip and suppressor, and that just made the gun so amazingly good. The recoil was very easy to control, and its damage at long range was still pretty darn good. So since then, DICE has changed all the attachments and given the gun a huge nerf at the same time, and it's kind of dropped off the radar. In fact, a lot of people used to this was the best gun to use. A lot of people just used it like crazy all the time. There wasn't any reason to use other assault rifles, and then DICE nerfed it like crazy. People stopped using the gun, and now they've given it a little bit of a boost, and not to mention some kind of cool looking gun camo. So the last patch notes read, F2000 foregrip accuracy penalty reduced and recoil reduction bonus increased. Basically that just means the F2000 is going to perform a lot better with the foregrip. And if you think, well, that's not really a big buff to the gun, well, it is, because you should only be using the foregrip with this weapon. I feel pretty confident in saying if you're not using the foregrip, then you're not using the F2000 right, because the side-to-side recoil on this thing is just a monster, and you will easily lose control of this weapon. The only reason not to use a foregrip is to get better accuracy at range when firing, and since this thing doesn't have very good ranged accuracy to begin with, just slap the foregrip on there. Not to mention DICE has buffed the aiming down sight accuracy while using foregrip, so they're basically like saying use the foregrip, use the foregrip. Now aesthetically, I never thought the F2000 was the coolest looking assault rifle out there, but the new camo actually makes it look pretty cool, and I don't know if it makes it blend in more. I mean, chances are if somebody sees you, they're going to see you whether or not you have a black F2000 or this sort of urban camo F2000. But I do like using the camo on here, and I can't wait to get some camo with some of the other guns out there. Now I actually like the F2000 quite a bit because the stats that DICE has given it basically make it fall into a category that's quite different from some of the other standard bread and butter assault rifles. It's a bullpup design, and DICE has decided to give the gun extremely good hipfire and also very good accuracy while on the move. Not a lot of other assault rifles perform well while you're moving around. DICE kind of wants you to stand still while you're taking your shots, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, how many soldiers in real life do you see running and gunning literally at the same time? Not a lot. Well, the F2000, although it's not more accurate while you're moving, it doesn't suffer the same kind of accuracy penalty as most of the other assault rifles while you're actually moving. On top of this, the F2000 is actually tied with several other assault rifles for having the best hipfire accuracy. So having extremely good hipfire accuracy and good accuracy while on the move makes you extremely lethal in close quarter combat, where you can basically stay on the move, strafe, and shoot at the same time, making yourself a harder target to hit, and having an accurate gun that can still take down your opponents. So the F2000 shines incredibly well in close quarter situations. Having an 850 round per minute rate of fire doesn't hurt either. Not quite as high as the AEK, however the AEK doesn't hip fire quite like the F2000. So you sacrifice a small decrease in rate of fire for a much better hipfire accuracy. Now unfortunately, the reload rate of the F2000 is nothing to write home about. In fact, it's pretty much tied with the AEK, although if you fired off every single bullet, it has a slightly faster reload than the AEK, but base with a bullet in the chamber is 2.6 seconds, and if you fired off every single bullet, it's 3.6 seconds, and that is a long time to wait for a reload with any gun, and especially a gun for close quarter combat. I would love it if DICE could shave down the reload time just half a second maybe on both aspects. I think it would make the F2000 a little bit more competitive and a little bit more fun to play with. It's not going to win any competitive rounds, it's not going to take over the game. It'll just be a little bit more usable and enjoyable in close quarter situations. Now when it comes to the damage model, the F2000 is pretty standard, coming in at 25 maximum damage, meaning it's a 4-hit kill at anything under 8 meters. and then it drops all the way off to 18.4 at 50 meters. So basically identical to all the other assault rifles out there. Now the recoil on this gun is some of the highest for any assault rifle. In fact, I would say the only gun that has higher recoil than the F2000 is the FAMAS. And the vertical recoil is extremely high, clocking in at 0.26, and the side to side is again extremely high, clocking in at 0.5 and 0.4. And this is just one of the reasons why you have to have a foregrip on this gun. With anything with this high, with this extremely high side to side recoil, you really don't have another option of using anything but a foregrip. Now you're welcome to play around with something like, say, a flash suppressor to try and tame some of the vertical recoil, but you know what, the F2000 really isn't meant to be tamed. I mean, you could get a little bit more manageable recoil while aiming down the sights, but you know what, if you're going to be spending a lot of time aiming down the sights, there's a lot better assault rifles out there for it. And if you say put a heavy barrel on this weapon to try and give it some better damage and aimed accuracy at range, well, there's again a lot of guns that are a lot better for aimed accuracy and doing range damage. In fact, the F2000 has been given some of the worst based aim down sight accuracy out of any of the assault rifles. So the stats are all sort of pointing this gun towards hip fire the thing. That's where it excels. It really excels while moving and hip firing. So I just don't see a lot of reason in messing around with the other attachments. I have tried them out, and they make the gun a little bit more manageable. They basically do the things you would expect them to do. It just doesn't become better than some of the other options out there in terms of assault rifles. Now, I really love how DICE has brought the F2000 back into the game after they nerfed it into oblivion, because everybody kind of complained that it was overpowered, and it was frankly a pretty overpowered weapon at one point, and then became completely unusable, and now has slowly been getting buffs here and there to bring it back into the game. DICE has crafted the gun for a very specific task, and I like that about this. And I really like having guns that are very good at specific tasks and not owning all the tasks out there. And the F2000 is just one of those guns where if you join a map that's clustered, chaotic, lots of close quarter fighting, then this is the gun to pick. You know, if there's going to be a lot of long range fighting, maybe more covert stuff where a laser sight is not the best option, then you're not going to want the F2000. You're going to want to go with something else. But what the F2000 does well, I think it does better than any other assault rifle out there. There is the FAMAS, which is again a very good gun for hip firing, but I think the FAMAS needs a little bit more work done to it before it can kind of excel at what it does. When it comes to hip firing, close quarter, chaotic combat, in a reasonable package, then I think the F2000 is where it's at. So before I end this review, I thought I would let you guys know about a little show that's in the works. Basically, Rival X Factor and I are going to be playing on our server at a specific time on Thursday. In fact, I believe the time we have scheduled for that is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys can work out the math on your end. But if you guys would like to play with us, we're going to be on our server at that specific time. I'll probably tweet it out also if you follow me on Twitter. And then we'll kind of post some of the highlights of the games that we play with you guys on there. So if you want to play with me and Rival X Factor on our server, I'm sure there's going to be a crowd of pretty decent players in there to sort of test your skills and just have fun. Then this is the way to do it. If you guys don't want to like stalk me and stuff through battle log, which I totally understand, then you can come and play with us on Thursdays. So we haven't thought of a name for the show yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as we do. So that's it for the F2000 review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to rate the video if you did enjoy it, and please go try the F2000 with some hipfire. I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap signing off.
Thank you.